What's up, everybody? This is Nicholas Holt.
And Jacob Holt, and we're the Holt brothers.
All right, so today we're gonna talk about the big topic of what is more important, having a good diet or having a strong workout routine. So, first thing that comes to your head, Kobe, what are you thinking when you hear that question?
I'm just thinking that more of a strict or being able to follow a diet and cleaner type eating is going to be more beneficial long term than a stringent fitness program.
Yeah, I feel you, and I hear that, and I think the first thing that comes to my mind is more so like what for what, right? Like what are we building to? Are we building to like just like a good life, or are we looking to build like for sport or competition? Like I think all that is a pretty like controversial idea, but I think that you hit the nail on the head. Like you probably need a good diet to do anything, right? That's kind of the base of everything.
Right.
um yeah, but also I think that when we are younger like us, the diet is important, but if we're trying to compete, do you think that the diet is as important when you're thinking of like wanting to compete?
Yeah, I mean it does depend on like what you want to get out of it, right? So you want to be really good at a specific workout routine. If you want to be good at CrossFit, you want to be good at powerlifting, you have to train that stuff. It's not like you're just going to eat good and then all of a sudden can do anything that all these other people do that train so much. And you will have a lot better success doing those things and learning the technique of all those movements if you train more than worrying about your diet. So, like people our age and pretty much every age, really, time is the biggest limiter. So, whether it's deciding on, like, all right, I need to figure out what food I'm going to eat right now, or I have to put an hour, 2 hours away to work out, if you want to get that technique down, you got to put those 2 hours into working out rather than figuring out what your next meal is going to be and planning that.
Right, right. Yeah, and you obviously with your physical therapy background, like what it sounds like, how often do you would you talk to people about like what they're eating when they come into you?
Yeah, so that'll be case by case as well. But I mean, if somebody is coming into me asking about, they do all this working out and they're hitting a plateau, that's when you can visit the eating aspect of it. And as physical therapists, we're not that's not really under our um, plan of care. Like that's not what we do for them. But like that's when we can outsource them out to a nutritionist or a dietitian, someone that like we trust that can lead them into that. But if it's someone that's just coming out from ground zero, then I think that we want to start with the physical attributes of it. So like you want to get them to have that technique and be able to work hard in the gym, and then you can figure out the diet second to that. But the diet is probably more uh, more needed when you're talking long term and being at the top part of your game. But if you don't have a
Right.
base and a foundation to that, you're really not building on anything. So the food is going to be good for you as your overall health, but as far as competing and being the best you can be in that, that's not really doing much for it.
Right. It almost seems like it's like both ends of the spectrum, right? Like in one case, you're like, okay, I'm just like a 55 year old man or whatever, woman, and I'm just trying to like be healthy. You need to like start with the diet and then get into the working out. But on the other end, when you're like, all right, I want to be like a high competitive athlete in whatever sport I may be in, I can work really hard, but then to get like the final edge is probably you need to look into what you're eating.
Right? Yeah. There's
It's
no.
funny how it's like like the beginning and the end we talk about the diet, but in the middle sometimes I think it gets lost.
Yeah. There's no cookie cutter uh, plan for anybody. You gotta find where you're at and then change from there.
Right, right. So Then another thing that I was thinking about with this is like so many people are like, oh yeah, I'll just like be on a good diet or I'll get on a strong workout routine. What does that mean? Like I don't even like. There's so many different diets and so many workout routines you look on like your phone, Instagram, Twitter. Like there's thousands of different ideas of like I just saw this one guy is like this carnivore 2.0 guy on Instagram, and he's saying that like almonds are terrible for you and fish will kill you and like all this crazy stuff. Like he only wants like you to eat beef and fruit, and I'm like, I don't know. Like you hear what he says and you're like, okay, I guess there's like some merit to what he's saying, but at the same time, it's like you're telling me that everybody in the world that drinks almond milk is gonna like suffer some bad illness because of it. Like
Yeah, right. I
I don't
mean,
know.
at the end of the day, you've never seen somebody that is 500, 600 pounds overeaten on celery and tomatoes. Like
No.
that's just not what's happening. That's
Right,
not.
right.
So I don't think eating an extra banana or apple is going to crush your goals. But I
No.
mean, I think a super basic diet plan for anybody would be if you can just eat. Uh, well, diet plans will go in phases all the time, right? So like long time ago, fats were the killer of everyone, and everyone needed to get rid of fat. So fat free was the best thing that you could ever have, and then turned into, well, carbs are the worst thing ever for you. And fat really, it's not that bad for you. You should have fat. Then the keto diet took form. Um, and then now carbs are the worst thing for you. And really, it's just moderation, right? So you want to, uh, and big thing is a lot of protein. So like you want to get your body weight in grams of protein every day, and then fill in the rest with carbs and fat. So, but if you lead every plate, lead every meal with the protein, and then surround it with carbs and fat, then for the most part, all that means is that you're getting your protein goal, and then you're going to be full from the protein, so you're not going to overeat on carbs and fat. That's all
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, sure, like these diet trends go in circles, but you've never heard someone say that's like protein, stay away from protein. I've never heard anyone say
No,
that.
that,
So that's one thing that we all could probably just be on like, all right, as long as I get my protein, I don't really know this other stuff that people are talking about. And they don't even say like you have to get your protein from meat or from chicken or from fish. It's like you just got to get your protein, whether it be from like kidney beans or
mhm.
whatever. You just need to get your protein. So I think that's something that's like at the bare minimum, get your protein, and then probably there's no one that's ever like okay with just eating a bag of chips at 10 p.m. There's no diet that like is like, oh yeah, you should right at 10 p.m. before you go to bed, you should eat a bag of
Yeah,
Skittles.
right.
So at the same side, like it's almost like this good diet is like such a broad term, but make it simple for people and just be like, get your protein
Mhm.
and don't eat sweets. Well, don't eat sweets a lot at the wrong time.
Moderation. Moderation is the key to every diet.
Moderation. Moderation is key. And on the other end, workout routine, like there's a whole bunch of different ways to work out, but at the same time, I think that on the flip side, be super consistent with whatever your routine
Yeah.
is. Like it can be anything you want, whatever you want to pick. As long as you're consistent, that's probably the route to go there.
Exactly. You want to be consistent in the weight room, finding out things that you like. You can start out with just following someone that you really like. You like their Instagram post. You like whatever they post on. You like seeing their videos. If you want to be something like them, if you follow their programming and you're consistent with it, chances are you're going to have good success. I mean, these people, maybe even if they're not giving you the exact things they're doing every single day, it's somewhat of what they're writing. So they're not going to lead you super far astray, so that their plan that they're giving you is what is causing you to not hit your goals. And then if you're seeing that there's
Right.
one specific thing you're not hitting your goals, then you can tailor that to, well, like, hey, they don't hit this movement a lot in their programming and I really want to get better at it. Then that's when you can cut out some time for you to work on one specific technique and then go rolling with that. But if you just get one base from someone, or you just slowly make it, if you have a ton of time on your hands, slowly make it over time with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. So, I don't know if we have a great answer for this, but I would say probably you think good diet. You think that's more important
Good
here?
diet, I think, is gonna take the edge just barely. Both are needed.
Just barely, but I think that I'd have to agree
Just like
here.
what we talked about with the diet, moderation, right? So you can't solely be on the diet, you can't solely be on the training. You got to find a little bit of a both.
Right. Right. Because yeah, like we've all taken maybe a few days off of working out, and you don't feel great, but you don't feel terrible. But if you have like a bad day of eating, you really
Yeah,
feel it the
no
next
doubt.
day. I think we both can agree with that. Like you go and you like eat too many sweets or eat a bunch of like just overeat or undereat. Either way, like the next day you're like something's off and you can
Hmm.
feel it. So I think that the good diet probably goes here. All right, well with that, we're the Holt
We're out.
brothers.